This is a crazy story. I found this random matchbook in an antique store, tracked down the history, connecting it to the Frank Sinatra and the origins of this bromance, which sadly resulted in tragic death. Please stay tuned, this is a really interesting story. If you're new here, my name is Matt, and I basically go to antique stores and find old photos and matchbooks and track them down to their original owners. I'm a sucker for music history, so this is one of my favorite stories in the series yet. The address on this old matchbook points to 256 West 52nd Street in New York, which used to be called Jilly's. It was a popular 60s jazz club run by this man, Jilly Rizzo, and was a hotspot for tons of celebs like Judy Garland, Johnny Carson, Nat King Cole, Sammy Davis Jr., and more. But it was really notorious for this man because it became a second home to Mr. Frank Sinatra. Apparently, Sinatra famously said that since he grew up as an only child, he never again wanted to dine alone, so his tables were always filled with a lot of people and a lot of booze. So he made Jilly's his spot and became literal brothers with the owner, Jilly Rizzo. They were inseparable. In fact, in Sinatra's 1969 cover of Mrs. Robinson, he actually changes the words to say, "Jilly loves you more than you will know."
Jilly loves you more than you will know.
I mean, these two were so close that when Jilly got locked up for an $8 million bank scam, old Blue Eyes took it upon himself to write letters to the federal court begging to get Jilly out of prison because he was such a great guy, and it worked. He got out scot-free. And when Sinatra would need Jilly to rough someone up with him, he had no problem doing that. He would beat the shit out of people for Frank Sinatra. And this even resulted in a $2.5 million lawsuit against these two. I mean, these guys did anything for each other. It's very wholesome and very sweet. These two could not live without each other. In fact, Sinatra actually convinced Jilly Rizzo to move out to the West Coast with him and said, "Hey, you can start a restaurant business out here. It'll be super successful. I'll be a part of it." And they moved out there together. That's crazy. As a result, the club was closed in 1986 and transferred over to Russian Samovar, which is a really popular Russian restaurant. It still exists to this day. They actually still have the original booths that all those people would sit in, and apparently is the spot to drink a lot of vodka at. But the story of Frank Sinatra and Jilly Rizzo does not end here. It gets pretty sad from this point on. So as I mentioned, these two moved out west together and were actually neighbors until Jilly was sadly killed in a really bad car accident in 1992. This obviously sent Sinatra into a super depressive state, and he kind of secluded himself, became a bit reclusive for the next 6 years of his life, never really got over it, and then passed away in 1998. It's sad. These two saw so much of themselves in each other. They were cut from the same cloth, from the same neck of the woods, and it ended very tragically. But there is sort of a happy ending to all of this. Sinatra was buried at Desert Memorial Park in California with a bottle of Jack Daniels and apparently a pack of Camel cigarettes tucked into his suit, which is so amazing. And only 6 graves away is his buddy Jilly Rizzo. How sweet is that? My friendships, if my bromances aren't like that, I don't want them. This is the gold standard right here. What a beautiful and tragic story.
Didn't we almost make it this time?
Thanks so much for watching. If you like this series, please make sure to follow, and I'll see you next time.